being yourself isn't something we can suddenly switch on. We don't wake up one morning and decide, I might start being my full, authentic self today, like it's been hanging at the back of the wardrobe, just waiting for the right weather. Rather, it is an ongoing process, based on lots of choices that we make daily. So try not to worry if you don't yet feel that you've got it all sorted. In my experience as a therapist, someone with this concern comes into my office almost every day. So you're by no means the only one who can't get it right, while everyone else can. Who are you, beneath everything you've been taught you have to be? What is the self? Before we think further about self-discovery, let's take a moment to consider our concept of what the self actually is. The foundations of our sense of self form early in life, shaped and influenced by a multitude of experiences. Some of these include early exchanges with our caregivers, how loving and reassuring these relationships were, how self-aware our primary caregivers were, the expectations and wishes of those around us, the environment we grew up in, the emotional stability of the household we were raised in, the schooling we may have received, interactions with our peers, the societal valuing of certain identities over others, such as the entrepreneur, the athlete, the model, etc. From the growth of mainstream self-development and an ever-increasing focus on being the most productive, i.e. successful, versions of ourselves we can be, a notion of an ideal self has emerged, of a person who is so self-aware that they can rise above anxiety, doesn't feel triggered by anything, wakes at 5 a.m. each morning to meditate, and is, generally, wise beyond belief. But this notion of a perfect, static self is a mythical one. A fantasy self that is fixed, predictable, and consistently consistent. I don't know about you, but to me, it actually sounds a bit boring, a bit robotic, and it's certainly unrealistic. Yet many of us might be battling with this notion of the mythical self, as if it's what we should all be striving for. And when we break this down, it's understandable that we might think this. After all, how do we know what parts of us are, or could be, our true selves? And what parts of us are constructs that have formed in response to our experiences in life so far? The self is not just one thing. It is formed of many moving parts. And yes, that can mean that our awkward teen self is as much us as our mature, grown-up self. We will never know and understand everything about ourselves. Although in a time that seems rather obsessed with productivity and optimization, it can be easy to feel pressured to try to reach this goal. As such, it can be useful to take a moment, now and again, to simply check in with what self-discovery expectations you're placing on yourself. Do they need tweaking to be more realistic? After all, you weren't formed to fit inside the parameters of a neat little box, whether it be of your own creation or someone else's. You may at first be resistant to the notion that some parts of yourself will always remain a mystery. So you might need time to come to terms with the idea of not knowing every aspect of who you are. It's useful to remember in this respect that we all have finite energy. And when we dig our heels in, determined that things be a certain way, we use up a lot of this energy that could be better used on getting out and exploring the world.